We came and built this under here like this. What's the point of it being like this? Okay? This can also be in the more professional parts to help us to unwrap and give a precise map to this. Okay? I can also remove these. These are not really necessary to exist. Well, maybe I'll also do these every other one. The top also needs to be corrected. In addition, it seems, this also needs a weld in this section to be done. Very good. This is also fixed. Okay? Just that I can extrude the parts that need to stick out a bit. Look, I'll take one of these. If I press extrude, I can give it a thickness and a height. So that we have that protruding effect in the tiles, expanded a bit. There are a few more parts to this dome that need to be done. Okay, I select all around here. Very good. I don't need more than this up to here. Meaning, I need to deselect all of these. These parts I don't need, okay? Here too, I don't need the top. So what should I do? I want to create the protrusion on these parts. As I said, I can easily create the protrusion with an extrude. However, Here, I need to be careful that the amount doesn't get too much. Maybe if the width is a bit more, it won't be a problem. It can show itself, but its height can be a bit less. Let's see here. Very good. If you put a chamfer on this, let's open it up a bit again. Just we need to be careful with these corners. With the quad setting, a bit less. I'll check the bottom part to see if it has caused any problems. The bottom part, too. But you need to be careful to only select the parts that are needed. This part needs to be deselected. Okay, I'll speed this up and do it. All right, I've selected this interior. You don't really need to be very meticulous about it. But if you want to, you can do it. I've selected this interior. I'll extrude it. Let's see what happens and how beautiful and exciting it is. I'll adjust its angle as much as I want. Excellent. It's also good to chamfer it a bit so that it turns out for us. I'll press F4 to see what's happening. Very good. This is also okay. This is our dome so far. The bottom part is left, and the teeth that need to be placed here. It turned out beautifully. I'll take it out of isolation, and now I can rotate it 90 degrees and move it up. And place it on the column and move both up and place them above the stairs. We can. You see, when we select it, its pivot is at the corner. We can go to the hierarchy section, effect pivot in the pivot effect, click pivot and center pivot, and bring the center inside. This is also the center. Okay, this is the center. I'll bring this and put it here. I'll bring this and put it in this section. In its place. Our work is almost done. The teeth part is left and these circles that need to be placed here. Okay, I'll create these circles with a sphere here. Remember here, we had circles like this that we can slice them at 180 positive. 180. Let's see where this is located. I'm isolating this again, so it's positioned here. I'll press F4. Unfortunately, it's not possible. I wanted to do something so it would be easily positioned. Okay, I'll go to the plan. I'll move this, for example, to this part, so it can be seen. I'll rotate it. I think I should the same state. I think it needs to rotate 22.5 degrees. Of course, minus. And now rotate minus 45 degrees. I'll move it and place it here. Let's see if it went inside or not. Well, it should go. If I set the reference coordinate system to local here, you can see that these arrows are going in a direction where I can do my work much more easily. Very good. It should go. Okay, I can also move it a bit to the side so it doesn't interfere. Very well. Now with the distance, shift. I'll hold it and make about 20 copies at a reasonable distance, and OK. OK, 20 was not enough. Again, at approximately the same distance, copy this time 30. Still not enough. We need a few more. I think 5 or 4 was enough, and I'll delete the last one. I'll select all of them and exclude the dome from the selection. And I want to pull it a bit to the right so that it has a more reasonable distance. I need to look at the beginning of the work. Good. I'll repeat these around my work as well. In the other 7 faces, I also need to repeat them. In this part, I also need. In this lower part, there is isolate selection. When I'm in isolate mode, if I click, it will exit isolate mode. I want for that part a tooth-like shape. To use this capital, because it's similar to the capitals I have. I'll make a copy of it, select the copy mode, and press Alt-Q to go inside the work. I'll delete this. I'll press F4 and edit poly. I don't want the lower part either. I'll look at my image again to see which parts I need. You could say approximately this sharp part along with the two next to it. I need. So I want this part, this part, this part, this part, and the parts below here. I don't want these parts at all, so I'll delete them. These parts I don't want either. I think I deleted too many parts. Okay. I don't want this either. And here too. I don't need, and also here. Goes up to here, and the one that's here. Well, I don't need these either. This one too. And this one too. We come up and I'll delete the extras. Onto a flat surface and at the top too. I'll delete these as well. So that what do we do with this one? I'll take 4. Again, I'll bring the pivot to the center. Why didn't it come here? There's something at the bottom that needs to be deleted. I'll bring the pivot to the center again. And I need to shrink my shape so it goes and fits here. If you remember, there was something like this. We factored it out there, and we didn't work with it. This has now gone to our corner. We have a shape that fits in the corner. And this shape, well, a little bit I'll bring it out. And then again, let's see if we can hit 3 here. Select this. And hold Shift from the top and drag until this can give us a roughly suitable mouse tooth. I'll pull it a little more until. Now we want to align these lines. See, there's unevenness here, and here at the top, and here. I'll press scale and perform the scaling on the axis perpendicular to my work. In the X direction, I'm pulling. I pull and go. When I pull, I go past the scene. From the other side, the mouse itself returns. Okay, I'll draw it a few times until the line is perfectly straight. I'll bring it back a bit. Now my mouse pointer is ready too. This one. I can also take this one and put it in its place, but we still have work to do. I'll bring it forward and it needs to be rotated by 29.5 degrees. If we place this one here, I need to get 8 of them. Its distance, it wasn't a good distance, so they didn't fit together very nicely. The distance should be less. Maybe they are almost attached to each other. Seven? We'll attach 7 of them exactly to the dome. They still need to be smaller, apparently. A little higher and a little further in. Because we also have one for the corners. We need to create some space for the corners too. Maybe it wouldn't hurt if they were a bit smaller. Very well. This will be like this, and I'll fix the corners of these two. And our modeling will be finished. I'll make a copy of it and bring it here. And now we have to do something very special that we need to be careful about. I want this with symmetry. In our modifier list, there is a modifier in this section called Symmetry. I select the Symmetry axis and in the Z-axis, minus 22.5 plus 45, 65, and it becomes 67.5. And minus 67.5. Now we go back to the original shape. Rotate it. It should bring it and place it here. I think it's good. And here's the corner of my work. I'll just copy the rest of the model because I have to. Put it on time-lapse and finish my model. Of course, I'll tell you a point here. Let me exit isolate. See if I come and want this model. And this shape to Alt-Q, I want to rotate this around this shape. It's enough to bring the pivot here and place it in the center. And you know the rest. I didn't select that thing. I'm exiting isolate. If you remember, we drew a line here. This line, Alt plus Q, I'll make the pivot of this shape. Effect pivot, and then I'll move this with snap and place it in the center of this shape. And then, the pivot effect, I'll turn it off. Now, if I rotate this, you saw it rotates from that center. And if I turn off snap, I need to rotate it by a few degrees. 45 degrees. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I need 7 of them. I can put it in instance mode and OK. You saw that all 8 columns are exactly in their places. I'm exiting isolate, and you see that the Tomb of Hafez is almost ready. And I just need to copy those corners and move on to the rest of the matter.